Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel where we take awesome out of the box. Welcome to our very first episode of what we're calling right now the Tito and Bro Show. I'm of course joined by your tech bro.
What's up guys? It's me, your tech bro Cholo, and yes, I'm here in the video with Jamie. I think this is our first time doing this. So today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of my personal new favorite camera, the ZV E10 from Sony.
Alright, so to give you guys a bit of context, of course, we want to talk about the price first. Now, if you were able to snag this camera during the pre-order, good for you, you got it for a steal. But kahit na hindi, it's 42,999.
I bought it for myself with my own money. Like, Sony didn't give it to me. I bought it because I was really interested and I really wanted to try it out. And I was shocked how cheap it was. And yeah, it even came with two 16 gig memory cards. So I was really happy with that.
Yun. Tapos, may kit lens pa. So I think it's not going to be offered body only here, but 42,999 with a kit lens. Again, really great deal. Alright, so let's just kick things off with pro number one. I like hearing the good news before bad news first, but I've shot a couple of videos on the ZV E10, and the first pro I want to talk to you guys is there's no compromise with video quality, even though it's marketed as like a beginner-friendly vlogging camera. This is a camera that you can grow with. They didn't skimp out on any of the features. The video quality is super nice. Again, if you're just starting out, or even like you're like me na, who's like, season, di pa rin eh. Pero medyo you're into the game already, and I just feel like that you want that slight upgrade to a new camera. I think this is really good.
Well, yes, I agree with Jamie here because it actually downsamples 6K footage to 4K. So that's technology that's present in some of their newer 6000 series, A6000 series cameras. Just so you guys know, I'm actually shooting with the ZV E10 right now. So the Sony A6300s here. My new main camera is the ZV E10, and I'm very, very happy with the quality. Very sharp, the color science also. Yeah, they updated.
Super.
Yeah, they're using an updated color science, and not a lot of people were fans of the old color science. They actually preferred, like when they would hear about the ZV1, they try it out to be like, wow, this kind of looks a bit different. Prefer this. I agree. I prefer this new color science. Very nice.
So big check, video quality, no complaints so far. Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, like I mentioned, I have the camera mounted. I'm shooting with it, so I can't show it to you. But you know, JB's holding his, so he can show you. But this camera has all the bells and whistles any beginner or even pro videographer or vlogger actually would want in a camera. My favorite feature is probably the product showcase feature. So it's actually a feature where you hold a product right in front of the camera and it focuses on, I think it's focusing right now on that product. So yeah, really cool. And there's a button right there on the camera dedicated. You can turn it on and off, and you can also turn on and off something like a automatic background blur. So everyone wants the bokeh in their shots, right? Everyone wants that blurry background. And if you are a new vlogger and you're not used to, you know, mixing around with the settings to get that blurry background, you got an easy button for that.
But just as a caveat, I just want to say, like, the things like the focus are dependent on the aperture of the lens that you have. We'll be talking about more of the interchangeability of the lenses later on. We've seen some of it on the ZV1 already, like yung product focus and yung defocus. But them bringing it into this interchangeable camera body, which is actually, if you look at your camera, Cholo, it's technically an alpha camera also. It's, diba, parang weird. May alpha branding din siya eh. There's a channel that I've been super addicted to right now. It's his name is Ox Out. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Really good cinematic vlog with the ZV E10. There was no time that I said, oy, sana may feature tong camera na to na wala sa current camera body ko. Parang, again, if you're a beginner, and then you want to slowly learn the ropes on how to shoot manual and how to get certain shots, this can get you there until you're ready to go full frame.
And yeah, Jamie is right. I'm holding the 6300 right now, and they look nearly identical in the form factor. But one thing that I prefer on the ZV E10 is the big record button, because actually, I don't know if you can see it here. We have a small red button here to record video, but then the ZV E10 has a big red button. You can't miss it. You definitely cannot miss it. So
I got to the A6400 And now the ZV-E10, big change, of course, is the vari-angle LCD screen. We can't not talk about it, the flippy screen. I think this is the way that vloggers generally want the screen to be. Like the one on the A64 is like a flip up, which isn't bad, but definitely having it on the side is a lot better. Pero ako talaga, gusto ko yung may record, ano siya sa gilid eh. Parang there's a border. When you hit the record button, aside from that giant red light also that tells you that it's recording, I can't tell you how many times I've looked down the barrel of the camera and wondered, did I press the record button? And I'm actually wondering that right now. I did press the record button.
Yeah, and Jamie mentioned earlier another pro, which we'll get back into now, which is the interchangeable lenses. So the kit that I bought came with a 16 to 50 millimeter 3.5 to 5.6 aperture lens. What I have on the Sony right now, the Sony ZV-E10, is actually the 35 millimeter f1.8, and as you can see, it does wonders for the background. It blurs it out, and like Jamie said, the background defocus will depend a lot on the lens that you use, just like the one I'm using right now.
So, okay, that's actually a good way to kind of segue into the con section for this video. Now, yes, interchangeable yung system, it's great. Like for us, like for me, I have a ton of Sony lenses already, but for someone who's just starting out, that is going to be a very big investment for you, especially for Sony first-party lenses. They can be really expensive. The lens that I have on my A6400 right now is the 1655 f2.8 G Master. This lens is actually more expensive than my camera. I can almost buy dalawang ZV-E10. But of course, to offset that, you have third-party lens manufacturers that are doing a really good job. I have with me right now, this is the Tamron 17-70 f2.8. This is somewhere around 35,000, half the price of the G Master. For me, still really good picture quality though. But yeah, lenses can be a hefty investment.
Okay, so moving on, now it's my turn to give my personal con. So I've always only ever used DSLRs or mirrorless cameras that have a viewfinder. See this? A viewfinder is an electronic viewfinder. So you look into this so you can properly frame your shots when you're taking photos. But the thing about the ZV-E10, there is no viewfinder. I guess that's the price you pay for the flip out screen. Yes, it is a con for me, but it is a con only for a select type of user, because as a vlogger, I never ever use the viewfinder. The whole time I've had this 6300, I've never used the viewfinder. Never, ever. Because now that we're so used to taking photos with our phones, we're used to framing our shots with a screen, right? Like we have a screen, we know exactly how the framing is gonna be without having to look into a viewfinder, even on a sunny day. For vloggers, you don't really need it. And if you're like a photographer that does it in my style, don't need a viewfinder. But if you're a hardcore photographer, you might want to think twice because you might miss it. I know a lot of people, like my girlfriend, si Ju, she can't live without a viewfinder. So I just want to add one more con, and that's the stabilization. Or the lack thereof. Actually, the lack thereof. Because unlike the 6600, which has in-body stabilization, the ZV-E10 does not have any form of physical stabilization within the camera body. But then, you think about it, and the 6600 is like more than twice the price. I think twice the price of this ZV-E10. So, do you really expect to have in-body stabilization in such a cheap body? But Sony put electronic stabilization, which is okay. I say it's okay because there is a massive crop. In case you don't want that huge crop and you want to keep the framing, there's this software. If you turn off all the stabilization and put your video, your unstabilized video, into the software, the Sony Catalyst Browse software, it will automatically stabilize your footage. And that is thanks to the fact that the ZV-E10 can record gyro data. It can record gyro data, yeah. And thanks to that gyro data, it can automatically do it. If you take, for example, footage with the 6300, you can't automatically stabilize it.
But another con, just to kind of build on your point in the cons, is something that you will notice also, which again, some other YouTubers have talked about, is that the rolling shutter on this is not so. It's not so good. I mean, Basically, what that means is like, especially if you're looking at straight lines, if you pan the camera, you'll see like a jello effect, which can be kind of jarring to your viewers if you're going to be vlogging with this camera. Now, this is definitely going to be a con if you're a run and gun vlogger, if you're like a walk and talk vlogger. For Cholo and I, not so much of an issue. We're sitting down most of the time. We're talking straight in the camera, or we're taking B-roll footage of like tech, right? Of smartphones, of cameras, of laptops, stuff like that. And I'll try to show you some B-roll of what that actually is, that jello effect. But yeah, it can be jarring to your viewers. So of course, the workaround there is you can plan out your shots. Like if you are gonna be a travel vlogger, when again, it's safe to travel the world again, when you're talking to the camera, have a stationary place. And then when you're panning, you can slow down your motion a little bit. So you just kind of alleviate that rolling shutter. But again, it's something that you should take notice of. And I don't think it's something that Sony can solve with a firmware update.
If you're a vlogger, like me or Jamie, you can use something called S&Q mode. So that's another way to alleviate this rolling shutter, because you can actually shoot 4 times slower and get these really creamy, nice, beautiful, slow shots. And I use them all the time in my tech videos. And if you didn't notice, I've been shooting with the E10. So yeah, very nice solution to that con.
Yeah. So again, you know, we're going to try to cut this as short as we can. Of course, we want to keep this video as concise as we can. But I just want to know, like, final thoughts, Cholo. I think I already know the answer, but would you recommend this camera, and who would you recommend it to?
Okay, so I love this camera, don't get me wrong, but I only recommend it to, you know, vloggers who aren't travel vloggers, because, you know, travel vloggers, like, they love to talk while they're walking through the busy streets with lots of people, sometimes cars, and they have to run sometimes. Might not be the best for them. But it's okay if they're willing to use the catalyst browse to stabilize in post. That's fine. But then I super recommend it to people like food vloggers, starter photographers, tech vloggers like me. Yeah, perfect for that stuff. I love everything about it in terms of how I work with it. So that's my recommendation.
Like, I don't know, like Sony's marketing is way on point here when they say this is kind of like perfect for the person who's planning to upgrade from your smartphone to a camera. I think that's who I would recommend this to if you're looking something more than your smartphone that you can grow with. I can't say this enough. Again, this is a camera that will get you through up until that point where you feel like, I really need to shoot full frame right now. Of course, there is no perfect camera. This does have its flaws. There are ways to work around those flaws if you think about it. But again, you have things like the active stabilization, having that really tight crop, and you'll see, like with the raw, I hope you saw with the raw footage that I showed you guys earlier on, that it's also not as stabilized as you want it to be. So again, there's another workaround, which is catalyst browse.
I actually have a really quick pahabol. Yeah, Jamie's right. When you pick your camera, it's, you know, cameras aren't cheap. You have to commit. And the more you know about your camera, the more you know about the camera, the more potential you unleash. Because, you know, the more you know how to work with it, the more you can bring out the best in it. Yes. Okay, now we can end. All right.
Yeah, I think we'll end this video right now. We'll be doing like a more in-depth like review on the website if you want to know more like in-depth knowledge about this camera. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this is the first time Cholo and I are doing this. We've been talking about this for a while. Maybe it's something we can do in the future. But Cholo, why don't you take it away and roll that outro out for us?
Alright, so guys, don't forget, we have a giveaway right now, so check out the community tab here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out Unbox PH if you want to see more of our tech reviews. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's me, your tech bro, Cholo, and
Tito James here.
Yep, and Tito James too. And we'll see you guys in the next one.